Hey, it's the Ultimate Handyman. Today I've got an interesting project in my house. I'm going to be refinishing this bathtub that has this huge chip in it. We're going to be using a product called Ecapel 2K-24. I've never used this product, so it's going to be kind of like a review video, and we're going to see how it goes. I'm just going to follow the instructions, and hopefully it turns out good, and I'll have a refinished bathtub at the end of the video. Now, before we start this video, I wanted to ask you for a huge favor. Can you please subscribe to my channel? Right now, the channel is at 467 subscribers, and I'm trying to get the channel to 1,000 subs so I can get it monetized and I can make some money and then reinvest that money back into making better YouTube videos for you. So the first thing I did was cleaned up the chipped area with a wire brush. It had a lot of rust on the surface, and it also had some leftover paint from a previous patch. I wanted to make sure that got nice and clean. Now I'm mixing up some automotive body filler. This is just a Bondo brand body filler. This is what was recommended by the company that sells Ecapel, and I just used that to fill in the chip. Now I sanded everything down with 80 grit sandpaper to start, and then finished it off with 220 grit sandpaper. So now I made a huge mess with dust and debris, and I'm gonna have to clean the tub now. So what they tell you at the Refinish Bath Solutions is to use the Lysol Power Toilet Bowl Cleaner. You just spray this around and give it a nice scrub, and it's supposed to eat up all the soap scum and whatever else is in the tub and get it ready for the Ecapel. Now after the tub is nice and clean, you rinse all that down, you're gonna wanna remove the tub drain. This one was pretty nasty. The next thing I did was mask the drain and the overflow spout, and then I put some masking tape around the edge of the tub where it meets the tile because I'm not going to be refinishing the tile surface this time, just the bathtub. And then when you're masking off the room, make sure that you cover your floor really good. You do not want Ecapel on your floor. Put a couple layers of paper down first or whatever you got, and then or plastic. And so you have a backup plan in case something rips and it goes through the first layer. I wanted to recommend that you put the masking tape or paper higher on the wall than I did. I would say maybe like a foot higher, because I ended up pouring some Ecapel on the tile and I had to stop what I was doing to clean it up. And you run the risk of dropping something into the Ecapel once it's already like smoothed itself out, and that could ruin the finish. So here is the kit that I purchased on Amazon. This kit is enough to refinish one bathtub. I paid $150 for this kit on Amazon, and I purchased it from Refinished Bath Solutions. So this company also has a ton of videos on YouTube showing how to install this, and I highly recommend that you watch their videos because they are the experts on how to do this, and I want to make sure that you do it right if you do purchase this. So let's open up the kit and check out what's inside. So they give you this little, this is actually like a French fry carton, and you use it to scoop up the excess material and dump it back in the container. So that's kind of cool. You've got a foam roller for spreading out the material, and then you have the Ecapel 2K. This is part A, and then you've got the part B that you would mix with the part A. So that's what's in the kit, and a little thank you note. So this next step is the most important one to get right. We're going to be mixing the part A with the part B. Now, before I add the part B to the can, I'm going to pre-mix the Ecapel in the can. Mine was sitting in the garage for a few months, and I want to make sure nothing's separated. And you also want to make sure you scrape the walls of the can really good and the bottom. Now I'm going to add the part B to the can. Give it a little bit of a gentle shake and then pour it in the can. Now this part of the job is a timed process. You have 10 minutes of mixing, and you want to be mixing this by hand with a paint stick. And make sure you scrape the walls of the can and the bottom. every once in a while to make sure everything is nice and mixed up. And I also wanted to mention you do not want to use a power mixer for this job because you can ruin the Ecopel. I guess it introduces maybe air bubbles and that'll screw up your finish. So after you get done mixing, you're going to let it rest for 5 minutes. Then after the 5 minutes, you're going to remix it for 2 to 3 minutes. So now I'm going to be pouring the Ecopel in the bathtub. Before you do that, give the tub one last wipe down to make sure no lint or debris got in the tub. And I like to bend the can in so it gives it a nice pouring spout. And I'm going to be pouring the entire contents of the Ecopel on the two side walls and the back wall of the tub. Now take your time doing this. I kind of rushed and I poured some a little bit higher than the tape, but that's okay because you can wipe it off during the process, and if you do get a little residue, you can actually scrape it off with a razor blade. Now I'm going to take the foam roller and I'm going to put light pressure and just push on that edge and roll the Ecopel into the tub. Doesn't take much pressure. I'm going to do this on the back wall and the two sides. So now I'm going to start working the side walls. I'm going to take the material that's pooling up in the bottom of the tub and I'm going to start filling in those spots on the walls that haven't yet been coated with Ecopel. I'm dragging all the excess from the front of the tub to the middle, and basically I'm just kind of pushing this material around with the foam roller. I'm not really rolling nice even coats like you would do paint. You're just really kind of pushing it around and just getting the tub covered with Ecopel. So now I've got the back and the side walls coated and they're starting to smooth out. There's going to be a lot of Ecopel building up at the bottom of the tub. So we're going to take that material and put it back in the bucket because we're going to use that to pour the front face of the tub and the inside edge of the bathtub. Now I'm going to take the Ecopel and pour it right on top of the bathtub edge and just kind of push it on the inside and pour it over that outside edge to cover the remainder of the tub. So I wanted to mention that you have 1 hour to get the Ecopel onto the bathtub. Now it took me about 30 minutes to do the whole tub and get it coated, and everything came out great on the inside of the bathtub, but I did have some issues on the front face of the tub. I think I overworked the material. I actually didn't have enough at one point, so I had to scoop some more out of the floor of the tub and then pour it over the edge. And I think I just overworked the material. When you put the stuff on, you want to just push it around as fast as you can, get the tub coated, and just let it do its thing and glass out. And if you keep touching the spots that have already smoothed out, it just takes that much more time for it to, smooth itself out. And if you're getting close to that hour time limit, it might not smooth out for you. But you can fix that. You can actually sand those blemishes down and buff them out like you'd be buffing a car's paint job, and it'll come out perfect. So after you get the tub coated, there's going to be a bunch of excess material building up around the tub drain, and you want to remove all that extra material and then smooth out the bottom of the bathtub. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my heat gun and pop any bubbles that might have formed on the surface. Now when I did this, I was super nervous. I was going to drop something on the finish and ruin it. I was really careful with that cord. You can see in the picture I'm holding it kind of taut so it doesn't rub on the tub edges. So make sure you're paying attention to where all the stuff is and your body, and because you don't want to bump into it at this point because it'll screw up the finish. And luckily nothing fell in there. So the next thing I did was remove the tape. Now I actually screwed this step up. I was supposed to take the tape off right after I was finished putting the Ecopel on the bathtub. So I waited about 5 to 6 hours after I had got it on the tub, and the Ecopel was starting to set up to where it was kind of a gummy consistency, and it was actually tugging the Ecopel a little bit away from the tub where I poured it on the tape. And I kind of freaked out a little bit, but I was able to get it off, the tape off in one piece without screwing anything up, thank God. So be careful doing this step, because if you were to drop that tape in the tub, it would have screwed up the finish for sure. So I wanted to mention that for the first 2 hours after I had poured the Ecopel, I would periodically go in the bathroom and check around the drain to make sure there wasn't too much material pooling up. So if there was, I would just take a plastic spoon and scrape the excess material out away from the tape. And after a while, the material stopped flowing and it wasn't a problem. And then I removed the overflow tape and the drain tape around the same time as when I pulled the tape off the walls. So I waited 24 hours before I reinstalled the drain and the overflow, and then I recaulked the bathtub where it meets the wall and finished off the bottom trim pieces. So I wanted to share with you guys my final thoughts. I really like this product. It worked amazing to refinish the bathtub. And it's hard to believe that when you're pouring it on the tub all sloppily and there's runs everywhere, that this stuff is actually going to smooth out. But the finish came out like glass. It's basically like a brand new bathtub. You can see here in the picture, it's kind of hard to capture how smooth it really is with all the glaring, but it looks amazing. And yeah, I'm really pleased with the results. All right, so that's the end of this video. If you guys know anyone that has a bathroom that looks like this, will you please share this video with them, because they definitely need this product. Now, I wanted to ask you for 2 more favors. Can you please like this video and also ring the notification bell so you can be notified when I post my latest how-to videos. And with that said, I want to thank you for watching, and I will see you the next project. And oh yeah, don't forget to check out my other videos right here. All right, now it's time to get cleaned up and relax a little bit. I've been working way too hard. Oh, I'm a little too big for the bathtub, I think.